So, Poe's law basically posits that any belief or sentiment on the internet, whether serious or satirical or a parody of anything, can and will be taken seriously by anyone and everyone on the internet if you don't make your intent clear. So, I could say, I believe that trees don't exist and that mountains are basically just giant tree stumps that were cut down thousands of years ago. And I could be joking or I could not be joking, but someone will believe me when I say it. And why is this relevant? Well, because people believe that mountains are basically just giant tree stumps that were cut down thousands of years ago. And so, before we get into this, just grab your piece of broccoli that you bought from the store or your tree branch that you found on the ground for a nice snack, for some extra fiber, and we're just going to talk about this theory because I think it's fun. So, yeah, let's get into it. What's the difference between this picture and this picture? If you said, I see no difference, they're exactly the same. Well, you're right. But if you also said, silly goose, that's a mountain, and that one's clearly a tree, you're also right. Because the mountains are trees theory, well, it's just that. It says that mountains are really just the remains of giant trees that were once 40 to 50 miles tall. Yeah. And look, I know you're not convinced by just this, surface level picture comparison of a mountain versus a tree, but I promise you that this is like the top tier stuff right here, okay? That I'm about to give you. So, didn't believe the picture, that's fine. But, well, maybe this will help you see. So, one theory that there are no forests on flat Earth people have is that mountains any mountain, I guess, is a petrified rock, basically, or a petrified tree stump. And if you compare petrified trees that we can see now, like at the Redwood Forest or the sequoias, to any mountain, but specifically, let's just say Devil's Tower in Wyoming. Well, they're really similar to each other in just structure and stuff. And
I want you guys to check these clips out right here. There's a normal stump, and you could see the rings around it. This guy breaks off a little piece of it. And look at this rock structure. Look at the rings, how they match. Even the shape of it matches. Look at that. And see how it breaks off and see those ridges and stuff? That's how that happens right there. And look at these ridges again. And look how the wood is when it breaks down. If you can see it, you can see it.
I'm not really well versed in geology or even like biochemistry, but I'm pretty sure that if you were to just take a sample of the mountain, like the rock from a mountain, and compare it to a petrified tree stump, wouldn't you be able to find some sort of carbon in the mountain versus the tree stump? Or, even just figure out the different varieties of rock versus petrified trees and compare them and see, well, this is clearly just a rock and not a tree stump or petrified wood. I don't know, but I looked up some, just factors or some comparisons between, normal rocks and petrified tree stumps on Google, and this is what I found. So, according to WikiHow, because I am a scholar, if you're looking for petrified wood out in the wild, you could find something that has, some kind of smooth texture in something in a specimen, I guess, or a sample that looks like wood, obviously, because we're looking for wood. They're also usually transparent and have some parts of, just dried sap in them, which kind of look like an off-white color, And if you're extra sciencey, then you can use a magnifying lens or a microscope to figure out, well, if there are rods and cones inside the wood because, well, it's a tree. It has rods and cones, Or you can literally just look at the wood and see if it has, wood designs in it. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but, I feel like that makes sense, And if you look at most rocks in mountains, you could probably see, like, different layers because over time, builds up various fossils and stuff. But I don't know if they're quite the same. But if anyone knows more about geology and stuff, you can just tell me or, just let us know in the comments what you think. I know you're wondering, if mountains are trees, then what happened to them? Where did they all go? Why are they all just tree stumps? And why are we just left behind with these wimpy old redwoods here instead of these 40-mile behemoths? Well, that's a good question. And there are answers. Whether or not you'll be satisfied by those answers, well, that's up to you. But, well, some of them are really interesting. Like, for one, the trees were cut down by giants or aliens, because aliens is always a good answer for any mystery that we have. Like the pyramids, like, how there's no Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny. They're just all aliens. But for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to say that they were cut down by giants, because a lot of these people that believe in this theory, they also believe in other theories, like how they were giants at one point. And for some reason, the giants cut down the trees. Maybe it was because they were reaching the dome that was above the flat earth, and they were threatening to pop it like a balloon. And so the giants had to do something about it, or else all the air that was in the dome of the flat earth would escape into space. And also, a lot of people that believe in this theory are also flat earthers, which probably not a coincidence. But anyway, the giants cut down the giant trees. And, well, my question is, where's the giant axe that they used to cut down the giant trees? I don't know. It's somewhere, probably lying within a cave somewhere, because the earth is also hollow. So giants cut down the trees. Quick recap. Also, another theory that they have is that some kind of nuclear war happened that destroyed all of the trees, or some giant wildfire that destroyed the trees and the earth along with it, which is why we're left with this hollow shell, pun maybe intended, of this hollow earth that we have here that has only these wimpy little bushes for trees. Where they got the nukes from, how did they even get that much firepower? I don't know. Maybe the giants were really good at figuring out the atom before we did. But after this theory, there's another one, and it's basically that a great flood came and swept all the trees away, which is why some trees are kind of jagged on the top. It's because they were knocked over, which I'm thinking about it now, and why are some trees jagged and other ones flat on the top if they were all either cut down or were all either, felled or knocked over? Someone smarter than me needs to answer that question ASAP, because My whole worldview depends on this, okay? But lastly, there is one more theory, and it is that the government is in on this somehow, and they were somehow involved in either the destruction of the trees or at least hiding the information from the rest of the public. Why they would want to hide this information from the public, I don't know. Probably just to gatekeep information so that they remain the intellectual elite. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. They didn't want us to know about the Illuminati or MK Ultra, which was a real thing, or that they have the cure to cancer. I don't know. So maybe the fact that they withheld this information has the same implications for us. But I don't really know for sure. So that's probably all the theories that there are about what happened to the mountains. On TikTok, on the rabbit hole I went down, that's all that I saw. But there might be more, no idea. But now there is one more theory about just the state of the world in general. And do you want to know what that is?
Did you know Avatar was a documentary, not a movie? Avatar was a documentary, not a movie. Avatar was a documentary, not a movie. Avatar was a documentary, not a movie. Avatar was a documentary, not a movie.
So I don't know about you, but that's pretty convincing to me, not gonna lie. Well, something that I noticed just going down this rabbit hole, having the pleasure of just discovering this new side of conspiracy theories, was that, well, it seems like even though a lot of these people probably wouldn't believe in climate change or global warming, the evidence that they have and the theories that they have behind what happened to the trees, there's like a similar level of this kind of environmentalism behind it. I was reading this article about it. I think it was like IFL Science or something like that. It was like right on the front page of the Google results. And they brought up this point where basically, the destruction of the trees has some kind of human fault behind it, and a lot of the destruction of the earth now is also caused by human beings being greedy and selfish. And so I know I might have sounded a little bit derisive as I was, recording this video, but I think really we have something in common. We believe that the earth used to be rich and beautiful, and sometimes it still is, but other times you can see it, the scars we've left behind, and like these people are people too, and they see that, and it makes them sad, and they want to understand why this is happening, much like we want to understand why the world is the way it is. And so I think as we continue to see this theory just gain traction on TikTok, I think it's important to be gracious with each other and just try to understand each other better. And even if their point of view makes no sense, at least to me personally, I don't have any ill will toward anyone that believes in these things unless they're actively, hurting other people and spreading stuff like this, But all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, you can just leave a like or subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.